last round, some of these open-wheel pilots left their mark on the streets of Townsville.
Oh, that's a massive hit. Over goes Jacobson.
That left one young driver on a hot streak. He's the man of the moment, Jack Le Brocq. 5 race wins in a row, 7 in 2012. Can he break the record? In this category, anything can happen. It's the halfway mark in the 2012 Australian Formula 4 Championship. Today, round 5 from Ipswich's Queensland Raceway. James Moffat from Team Norton DJR is along for the ride today. And James, although on paper this place ain't the most exciting of places, QR actually turns on good racing in Formula 4.
Fantastic track for a Formula 4. The slipstream really comes into effect down the back straight. A couple of really good opportunities to pass under brakes. And this weekend we have the biggest field that the championship has seen since the opening round. So I think this weekend we're in for a ripper racing.
One of the really common themes in Formula 4 is that one driver in the last few years has stood apart from the rest of the pack. That man this year has been Jack Le Brocq. He's got a lot on his plate in 2012. He's in the Shannon Supercar Showdown on 7 May, trying to win a drive in the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 later in the year. But for the moment, in Formula 4, he's the man to chase.
Jack Le Brocq is the Runaway Series leader. Further success this weekend could see him enter the record books for the most consecutive wins in the championship's history. Currently 7 in a row, set by last year's Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 winner and Dunlop Series frontrunner Nick Percat in 2009.
We've got 5 wins in a row now, 2 from Phillip Island and 3 at Townsville. So yeah, we'll see how we go this weekend and hopefully get 3 more, which will be great.
While Le Brocq is sitting pretty, his main rivals for the championship had a round they'd rather forget at Townsville. Mathew Hart got caught up in an accident at Townsville's concrete-lined walls, while Garry Jacobson was involved in a spectacular rollover that ruined his weekend.
It's just getting ready to line up Shae for the next corner. I had half a nose in and he happened to have missed a gear, and then I just collected him really. I ended up rolling over the top of him and it wasn't too good. Bit of damage to the car sort of stopped us from getting the car ready for the next 2 races because the chassis rail was too damaged on above my head. And yeah, that was the end of the weekend.
Shae Davies has not had the best of luck this season, but he's hoping his recent form overseas will turn his fortunes around.
I've been over to the US in between our Australian rounds here, and I've been competing in their F1600 series, which is the US equivalent to what we're racing in here, and it's been really good for us. And we've managed to have sort of a 75% win rate, 3 race wins out of 4 races, so it's been really good.
Rookie of the Year contender Simon Hodge knows only too well how fortunes can change in this category. After riding his car off at Symonds Plains earlier in the year, he claimed his first podium after finishing 2nd at the last round in Townsville.
We went to Townsville with our results from earlier in the year, not expecting heaps exactly, but to come out with the result we did, we're really, really happy with, and to be able to turn our fortunes around like that, yeah, absolutely ecstatic.
Also celebrating a successful Townsville mission is Macaulay Jones, who was also on the podium for the first time.
Every round that we go to, we sort of aim for around the top 5 mark, and anything better than that is pretty much a bonus, and that definitely was a bonus for me. Then I think we would have ended up the round quite good in the top 5 where we were hoping to be until the last race, but that's racing and that happens with us, and it's all in the learning curve that we've got for this first year. So I was really happy with it. You know, it couldn't have been any better for me.
Sam Power has bolted to 5th in the championship and is also the leading rookie, but knows he'll have his work cut out on a track notorious for close racing.
It's a very different track to probably the past couple that we've been to. It's a very simple track. There's only 5-6 corners where they're all fairly straightforward, so it's all very easy to learn. So that basically means that all the competitors will then be quite close together because there's not much on the track to learn, so everyone picks it up really quickly. You really have to be consistent around this track, especially because I think it's about a 12-lap race or something like that, and you do one lap where you drop a couple of tenths and you can get someone into your toe, and then all of a sudden you're fighting with 3 or 4 people because they toe up to you as well. So very tricky track in terms of racing, always produces really good races, so it should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Stick around. When we return, it's all the action from race 1. You're watching round 5 of the Australian Formula 4 Championship. With the biggest field for the year lining up on the grid, it didn't take long for the youngsters to lock horns.
Garry Jacobson on pole for the second time in 2012. He's got the jump to turn 1. Mathew Hart around the outside, but there's contact in the background, James. That's Luke Fraser.
And Ash Criddington caught up in that drama as well, so not the start those guys wanted, that's for sure.
Up front, though, Jacobson leads the way. The Sonic Run McGahl with Mathew Hart, Shae Davies next, then Macaulay Jones, and Jack Le Brocq's got to fight his way through from 5th on the grid.
And Hart now got a great run off turn 2. He pulls to the outside of Jacobson. Oh, deep under brakes into turn 3. He's going to go right around the outside, slipped into the lead.
And last year's Rookie of the Year, the 17-year-old from Canberra, is through the lead. Here's the replay. Bang, contact. Ash Criddington, the young gun from Ballarat in Victoria. And that's Luke Fraser from South Australia. A replay of the start again, and just Criddington moving across, the wheels into lock, and they're both off the road.
One thing you can't do with a Formula Ford is interlock those wheels, and we see the result of that accident.
The lead pair swapped positions several times over the first few laps.
Shae Davies, 3rd spot, waiting and watching. Hart lunging down the inside at turn 3. And he can't get away here because of the nature of this track and its straights. It's hard to break the toe.
That's really a classic move around Queensland Raceway in one of these Formula Fords, Aaron. Davies there, just sitting back in 3rd. Bit of a watching brief, I think. Jacobson now attacking Hart. Has a look up the inside. He's got the left front locked.
No. Left front locked. He won't run it off the road, but he'll cost himself 2 spots. This fight continues. Hart has just managed to draw away. Davies now defending from Jacobson. He's had to get his head back into running on a groove tyre because when he races in the States, they're on a slick over there.
And of course, we saw these two guys involved in that massive accident at Townsville. Jacobson now up the inside into turn 4, so he manages to keep it on the exit there, so moves into 2nd. But look at Mathew Hart moving off into the distance.
While Jacobson and Davies tussled for position, championship leader Jack Le Brocq slowly reeled them in.
Jacobson again, turn 3. They've completely rebuilt this McGahl at the Sonic Motor Racing Workshop since the last round at Townsville. And Jack Le Brocq, they just didn't get the setup right in qualifying. That's why he started 5th. He's up to 4th. He's just at least within sight of these two. They're getting stuck into it. This has been on all race.
And while these guys fight, that just means Mathew Hart is driving off into the distance. Certainly for Jack Le Brocq, though, it's easy to make a small mistake around this circuit and be punished for it. And we saw that in qualifying. Speaking of a mistake, Davies drops a wheel out of turn 5, and that's enough for Le Brocq to move up to 3rd.
And the 19-year-old seizes the opportunity, new backing from Drill Pro Services on board for the rest of the year with the McGahl. Turn 2, this is all about getting the run down the back straight. Last lap, Hart is gone. He's going to win this race. Jacobson's in the mirror, looking, watching. Get ready, Le Brocq's going to lunge.
Oh, big move up the inside by Le Brocq. Fantastic passing manoeuvre. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that.
And he's not the only one doing it. This is all behind.
Macaulay Jones going at it as well. So that battle's going to continue on to turn 4, whilst 2nd, 3rd and 4th still hasn't been decided either.
Le Brocq through to 2nd. This is a good fight back from 5th on the grid. But up front, Mathew Hart, last year's Rookie of the Year, has absolutely drilled them. The Year 12 student has had this car on rails, and he's going to carry it to the line and pick up the first race win in round 5 of the championship at Queensland Raceway. He looks at his mirrors and says, where are they?
Le Brocq's going to hold on for 2nd. Davies across the line in 3rd, closely followed by Jacobson. So great recovery. Oh, problem here for Sam Power. So something's going on at turn 6, the last corner. Anybody else involved?
Well, he was racing with Macaulay Jones. They were pretty tight for 5th
Macaulay
spot.
Jones.
There's Macaulay, and they've both got major damage, so can't help but think that a last corner move's gone wrong there. Here we go again. Power launches twice over the front of Macaulay.
Have a look at that, over the head of Macaulay Jones, and Simon Hodge innocently has to take to the gravel to avoid contact.
And because of that, Anton Di Pasquale, the teenager, picks up 5th. Matt Campbell next from Jordan Lloyd. Rhett Noonan 8th. Hodge managed to get to 9th. Dave Sarah was 10th. And Jones and Power, DNF race 1. Mathew Hart, though, picks up the win.
Macaulay, quite a scary accident, and what a place to have it on that last lap.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit scary for me, seeing the car going over the top of me, and effectively the car ended up rolling over my head, and taking the wing off my helmet, so that wasn't too great, but it's good to come out of it okay, and the car relatively all right, taking one of the corners off, but in the end, I'm safe, and it ended up being okay.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, it's all the highlights from race 2. You're watching the Australian Formula 4 Championship from Queensland Raceway. Mathew Hart had broken Jack Le Brocq's run of 5 race wins in a row, and the series leader was after some redemption.
It's another good even jump. 14 laps ahead in race 2. Shae Davies even has time to adjust the visor. He's third on the run through turn 1, but it's Le Brocq who's got to the lead. And Hart dominated race 1. Let's see if he can get back in front and stretch the margin.
The key for Hart in race 1, Aaron, was he broke the toe while the others were fighting for position and allowed him to clear off into the distance. On board now with Shae Davies. This will be a good example of what the slipstream does for you in a Formula Ford. Hart already moving into the lead, up the inside of Le Brocq. Davies trying to follow him through, but...
Oh, more drama in the background.
So Brett Noonan, big damage on the left front of that McGale. He'll be out of this race.
He struggled with the rear brakes on this car sticking. Oh, he was innocently wiped out there. Did nothing wrong. Wrong place, wrong time.
Macaulay Jones was showing no ill effects from the crash the day before.
Macaulay Jones zeroing in here, moving up through the field. Remember, he started from 12th and prepared this car. He's closing in on Matt Campbell, who is one of the locals, just 17 from Warwick here in Queensland, but Macaulay, who won his first state race at Sandown recently, moves through.
Mathew Hart slipped away from the chasing pack, and again it became a 3-way fight for the minor placings.
Hart skipping away. Le Brocq cannot break the toe. He can't get rid of Shae Davies. Down the inside, the Gold Coaster will get the move. This has been the popular passing place.
Certainly has, Noons. A nice slipstream effect down the back straight. Davies slips through to second. So Le Brocq, he'll be keen to get back past Davies and see if he can't hunt down Hart, but certainly Mathew Hart is showing everybody a clean pair of heels so far this weekend. Again, has broken the toe in this second race early in the race, and really so far it looks like it's for these three to fight it out for the minor places.
Remember, Le Brocq was the runner-up in the 2011 championship and is trying to go one better this year. Jacobson behind, he finished 6th. Mathew Hart again is clearing away. They can't do anything about it because they're fighting with one another and they're watching him disappear.
Exactly right. Oh, problems here for Dave Sierra off the road. Looks like it turned 5.
Gets it running again. The 12-time national karting champ got a bit of assistance from Jordan Lloyd, the 16-year-old from Toowoomba. It's still on. It's all about the slipstream. Le Brocq will jump to the inside and try to sneak on down. In fact, he won't try. He'll just about do it. Davies
very close.
Makes it difficult, and Davies has broken the lap record in this race. There's no doubt that this number 7 Spectrum is fast, but it tends to be starting to fade at this part of the race this weekend.
He does, and certainly Le Brocq having a look up the inside. So he's through on Davies, slides through up the inside of turn 4, but for Le Brocq, he's runaway championship leader, so he doesn't need to do anything silly.
You can hear cars bouncing on the run down the back straight. Davies right on the gearbox of the Minder Motorsport run, Cam's Rising Star McGall. But that margin, I can't get over it. Hart is absolutely dominating these guys. The fight for second's on. Le Brocq covers initially, but Davies has got enough at turn 4 and makes it through. Second place is now a 4-way fight with the young teenager Anton de Pasquale's run by the Sonic team. It's an older model, McGall, but for a young gun, he's doing really well. Just his second national appearance.
He's doing a great job running in the Victorian State Series on a regular basis. But look at Jacobson, almost in the grass, heading into turn 3. Davies can't hold him out, so Jacobson up to third. Looks like Le Brocq's pretty safe in second, but this battle for third's not over.
It's been classic Formula Ford stuff again today at Queensland Raceway. Davies, he knows where he wants to go. That's why Jacobson is covering the line, which at this late stage of the race, no problem with that. That's okay.
Oh, gives him a bit of a hit in the back of the gearbox. So great onboard footage there from Davies. Really giving us a chance to see what Formula Ford racing is like at the closing stages of a race. Oh, but Davies, he's into the back of Jacobson again. That's a bit cheeky, actually.
That was a bit naughty. Sends him wide. Hart has done it again. 2 from 2, 4 race wins for the year. He continues to eat into the championship margin of Jack Le Brocq, who crosses the line in second spot. In the end, though, Jacobson did make it home for third, but had a bit of assistance that he probably didn't want.
Davies comes home in fourth despite trying to punt off Jacobson on the last corner. Great fight back for Macaulay Jones, 12th to 6th, and Jordan Lloyd rounds out the top 10.
Up next, it's all the highlights from the final race of the weekend. You're back with the Australian Formula Ford Championship. Starting from pole, Mathew Hart was looking on track to make it 3 from 3 for the weekend.
It's all about stopping the pole man, but Hart has got the lead to 1. Le Brocq next, then Davies, then Jacobson, then Macaulay Jones. Remember, son of V8 supercar team owner and former driver Brad. There's Rhett Noonan, car 3, trying to carve his way back through the field after what's been a pretty tough weekend. And Anthony Pasquale in that number 4 Miguel, the older model car, is just hanging with the big boys of Formula Ford.
He is. He's been doing a great job all weekend. But for me, this race, Aaron, is all about if anybody can go with Mathew Hart. We've seen him streak away with 2 race wins. Jack Le Brocq, he'll be doing everything he can to stay to the back of the gearbox of that spectrum.
Simon Hodge there for Team BRM. Hasn't done any testing. First time at QR.
Le Brocq was determined not to lose any more championship points to Hart.
Le Brocq in the tow. We've seen this over the course of the last couple of races. He chases him across the road. There's not much room to play with there, but he's in the gap. He's trying to go deep, but he's not quite in. And if you can hang on the outside here, you're okay because you're on the inside for turn 4.
And now Le Brocq, he'll have to worry about Davies. So, yeah, slips back in behind Mathew Hart. Didn't want Davies to slip up the inside of him either. Probably just needed to be a bit more forceful with that move into turn 3. He was up the inside, but Hart holds on for the lead. Davies sliding off turn 5.
Remember these cars, they're light. Power to weight ratio's good. 4-speed gearbox, 1600 cc's. It's the formula that's worked for over 40 years in Australian and world motorsport.
Le Brocq slowly slipped back down the order and was under fire again from Shae Davies.
So Le Brocq back in 3rd spot. He's lost ground at Jacobson. Davies zeroing in. And Macaulay Jones going with him as well. And for Jones, this is solid. He's had his first state win in the Victorian Series at Sandown. He's stepping it up with the national boys. How's Davies? Nah, no way.
Davies just had it all locked up. And Aaron, they're the mistakes that Shae Davies is making too many of.
On board, going for the chase. On the recovery mission is Davies. Tucked in behind Macaulay Jones. And we've said it in the previous race, but Davies' car, for whatever reason, has been fast when it's fast, but it's faded this weekend in the latter half of the race.
It has been a consistent trend for him all year, but he's also been making mistakes.
This is a mistake by Macaulay. He's gone too deep into turn 2, carried too much speed in, and he's too slow out.
Having to defend the line from Davies, but actually gives him enough room to slip up the inside. So can Davies execute this move nice and clean up the inside? So that's a good job. That's what Shae Davies needs to concentrate on doing. Nice, clean moves, not big, desperate lunges where he's out of control, got the brakes locked up, and making mistakes because of it.
Finished 10th in the championship last year, driving the Australian-built Spectrum 014 chassis, the brand new car for this year. He's lost touch in the championship picture coming into this weekend. 4th in the points, which might not sound bad, but Jack Le Brocq's point score is double his at the halfway mark of the year.
And that's why Le Brocq's got such a big lead in the championship, because he's been consistent all year.
But it was Mathew Hart who was in a class of his own all weekend.
Chalk it up, 3 in a row, clean sweep for Mathew Hart. Final turn, checkered flag awaits. What a way to win your first ever National Series Formula Ford round. He's absolutely dominated the paperclip.
Jacobson is good enough for 2nd. And Jack Le Brocq, he clean swept the last round, now he's been swept.
But he does get some important championship points. He retains the lead. That margin has been trimmed. So So race 3, Hart from Jacobson, Le Brocq and Davies, Macaulay Jones in 5th from Sam Power, Dave Serra, good drive for 7th, Hodge, Noonan and Lloyd rounded out the top 10. To the round points, and Hart's weekend not quite perfect. Jacobson did take 1 point for pole. Le Brocq and the Shepparton driver round out the podium. Shae Davies 4th, De Pasquale in 5th.
Matt, your first round win, and you did it so easily.
Yeah, well, it wasn't easy. It's hard to stay consistent up the front, especially when you got pressure from Garry chasing back in the last few laps. Yeah, it was just awesome to get my first round win off my back, and it's finally the results that we're looking for way back at the start of the year, and now they've come off, so hopefully we can get on a roll and keep going.
And he's on a roll. He's trimmed the margin down to 27 points to Jack Le Brocq. Jacobson's still within reach, but it's turning into a 2-horse race for the 2012 Australian Formula 4 Championship. Le Brocq, Hart and Jacobson on the podium at Queensland Raceway. The championship now moves south to Victoria, round 6. And it supports the Dick Smith Sandown 500 and the V8 Supercars Championship. Look forward to your company then. Thanks to James Moffat and the whole team. I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll see you next time.